What's going on, guys? Handsome Home Buyer here. And for the first podcast of 2021, we went big, huge. I brought together 5 of the top real estate professionals on Long Island in a rapid fire speed dating format, 10 minutes a pop, and you are going to love it. Anything from finance to architecture to one of the top 200 home builders in the country. You want it, you need it, you asked for it. Handsome delivers. Check it out. All right, next date up on the speed dating lineup.
Yo.
Bam! Yo, there he is. Good to see you, man. Yo, we're like, I feel like I'm looking at myself.
You're looking good, man.
I'm not, I have to, so I've just been growing it because I know that I'll butcher it, but you got it perfectly lined up.
I need to take a trip to the barbershop. They get it nice and good for me, but right now it's kind of
okay. So you're not one of those people that just has the eye and does it themselves.
No. I mess it up. I butcher it too.
But it looks like, yo, it's great to see you, man. Everybody, Rob Mannino, the Colca Group, great friends of mine out east on Long Island doing big things in every sector of real estate. Rob, do me a favor in 1 to 2 minutes, let's say, give everybody a background on, who you are personally, where you came from, what you do with Colca, and then ultimately what Colca is about and what you guys are doing.
Awesome. Yeah. First of all, I love what you're doing, man. I've been watching it. Everybody's very knowledgeable, learning a ton of stuff. I love it. So good job.
Thanks, man.
So Colca's been in business for 46 years. We've been a construction management company, primarily built all over Long Island. We built like 500 buildings, 22 or 25 million square feet at this point. I think the number is, a couple $1 billion worth of construction. And Jack Colca, who founded it in 1974, left us a great foundation. Then about 3-4 years ago, Devin took over the company, Jack's son. Devin's kind of taken it to Colca 2.0. About 3 years ago, I joined up with Devin to kind of shoot it into the next generation of Colca, which we've now kind of created this vertically integrated approach like NDG was just talking about, where we're doing more development, we're doing more brokerage, more property management, doing capital consulting, and really kind of feeding off of our construction arm, because that's the core, that's the bread and butter, that's what we've always done, and that's what we're best at. But we're kind of branching off into these other services, and it's been real exciting.
Yes, you guys are essentially building a real estate empire. And I think, there's so many facets to real estate and being entrepreneurial. Like, I'm the same way. You see so many, basically, I mean, in my case, this stuff came from a need. Like, I was a real estate investor, and then I needed all these, ancillary services to get what I needed to get done. And I ultimately couldn't. So then I started building companies, which I really didn't want to do, but it becomes necessary. And you guys are doing that. I mean, on steroids. You've really embraced the social media. And there's nobody out there in the space doing what you guys are doing. The smart thing you did is in my opinion, is you took what you were great at. You're always perfecting that, and then you use that as a launch pad for all these other things like brokerage and property management and doing development deals, et cetera.
Yeah, it's very similar for us too, right? It was things that we were already doing for ourselves. Like, we have building, we're managing it. We're looking for deals on our own. We have a broker's license. It kind of evolved very naturally the same way. And one of the theories that we have that I think helps us tremendously is we feel like every company is two things, right? A technology company and a media company, right? We're very big on the social media, just like. Whoops, sorry, 1 second. Bear with me. Just like some of the stuff that you're doing, like, the podcast, we love it. So we really kind of embrace that media side, but we also have our core business, right? Our construction, real estate development. And what we've spent a lot of time doing is really architecting our software to be completely integrated across the board so that we could take a property from a concept all the way through to completion with capital platforms where investors get matched. It's like a match.com for investors, right? Like, it's sick. So you put a piece of property up there and you tell them what type of asset class it is, what's the projected return, what's the IRR, what's this, and it matches it with those best investors for that type of asset class with that investment type, that investment amount, and we kind of piece it all together, take it all the way through to property management, and it projects out all the returns. But at the core of it, again, there's a big construction portion in there that we're doing for the development piece, and that's our bread and butter, and that's what we're good at. So it kind of all just ties together.
So you're kind of setting up an investor plug and play. So you have an investor, you have an investing group, you have, hedge funds, private equity, Ascend, whatever it is. They have big capital. They come to you and you're like, listen, I'm going to handle all of it. I'm going to find the property for you. We're going to develop for you. We're going to manage it for you. Whatever, we can help raise funds if you want. Whatever it is, we're going to do. We can handle the marketing. We can handle, either the sales if it's condo or the rentals if it's a rental property. And I know you guys started out in industrial. That was Jack's big thing, but you've expanded into, multifamily, and you're doing all kinds of, government work with firehouses and all kinds of stuff. It's really exciting, man. It's really exciting to see.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, industrial is a big play for us right now. Just like, obviously industrial is really hot. There's different types of conversions. Big retail boxes are converting over to industrial, multifamily. Obviously, we all want our hands on it anywhere we could on Long Island, right? So we're always looking at multifamily. But yeah, we've essentially created this system where we're doing a lot of work with family offices, right? Family offices that have capital, want to make investments, but might not have those execution arms, and we could execute at any facet or any portion of the life cycle of the property. So maybe they come in to help us piece out the capital stack. Maybe they help us come in just for the development arm or the construction arm or whatever that might be. We're kind of that execution arm for a handful of family offices, and it's working out really well. And we could probably expand that into other things.
So as you talk about this, I selfishly want to ask you some stuff about what I'm interested in, which I like industrial. I've always liked industrial. My issue with industrial is I'm a pretty conservative guy. So either I'm making money and like real money out the gate because crazy stuff can happen. And if you're working on slim margins, the chances of you getting destroyed, especially in the commercial world, because everything in the commercial world takes forever. Just by design. Yeah. So,
and the smallest thing could break it all apart.
So I've been looking to get into the industrial space. Had I known about COVID, I would have just bought a bunch of industrial property anyway, because the prices went absolutely through the roof. But the biggest issue that I see with industrial right now is from a new development standpoint is it's not really penciling. Like, construction, meaning for new development, construction costs have gone through the roof, and we'll touch on that after. Are you seeing a lot of industrial deals that pencil from a new construction standpoint?
So yeah, we do, but people are getting real creative, right? So there's two things that come to mind, right? One is there's a huge demand for it, right? And prices, like you said, are going through the roof, not just on an acquisition side, but on a leasing side. Getting that light industrial, that last mile distribution, it's really tough for people. Like the products are just not out there. Inventory's low. So because of that, you can get a little bit more on the leasing end, which helps the numbers. But people are getting really creative on the construction side. We're doing a deal right now that's all tilt up, or precast even, right? Guys are getting real creative on their finishes and how the building's constructed, trying to save some dollars. We're doing some prefab stuff that's bringing the numbers down. So, if you get creative with it and you kind of keep those numbers down and keep your construction costs low, and now the demand, there's such a need for it. We are seeing some deals pencil out. In fact, I just saw a large deal that we did pre-con on for a huge industrial piece. I think it was like 450,000 square feet. And the guys we were dealing with it ended up selling it, but it's going to go through and they're going to build it.
Are you starting to see, Long Island, everybody knows, it's a very, very tough place to develop. There's not a lot of land. Zoning is very restrictive. It's the land of NIMBY. For those you don't know, it is not in my backyard. Are you seeing a lot of multi-story developments similar to like what they have in Manhattan, just because we don't have, the property out here, or everyone pretty much sticking to, one story right now?
No, we're seeing that vertical stuff going on. Not, obviously not Manhattan style, right? But a lot of towns are getting creative with like overlay districts. So Hotbog, for instance, in the industrial park, they just passed something where you can go up to, I think, 65 feet vertically. And what's nice is they also integrated a piece where they're going to bring in some multifamily. So we'll bring in some residential, some workforce housing. Brookhaven just passed something that's phenomenal. And it's either passed or it's about to pass, right? But it's a floating overlay district. Did you see that?
No, give me the dirt, man. What is it?
It's a floating overlay district. So basically anything that's distressed, any type of distressed retail or distressed properties, basically anywhere in Brookhaven, if they feel it's a good fit, they'll approve it for multifamily to go vertical, right? So
wow.
they're trying.
When you say vertical, how vertical is vertical?
It depends on the location, but you're usually looking at somewhere around 4 stories, 4 stories, which is nice, depending on where you are and what other zoning is around it.
So what I'm curious to ask you is, the biggest problems on Long Island with going vertical, where they always get you. I mean, forget about the height restrictions, yes, but it's parking. So parking is always a problem, especially in Nassau County, and it's out by you guys. It's septic. So the overall majority of Brookhaven doesn't have cesspools. Have you been working on any of these developments where they're putting these little like septic like plants there? Like, how are you guys handling the density given the issues with no sewer?
Yeah, so we'll do sewer treatment plants, right? We'll do sewer treatment plants, but it takes up a lot of space, right? So it's definitely more difficult than something that has sewer that are sitting on sewers. But two things that happen when you have to put in a sewer treatment plant. One is it takes up a lot of your space, so it's a little bit tough. The other thing is that it's a big investment, right? So sometimes it just doesn't work out because you're spending a lot of money to actually build that sewer treatment plant. So sometimes it's a little bit restrictive. We see a lot more deals in places that they're putting sewers, and there's places like Smithtown where sewers are coming in, Kings Park, St. James, the parts of Holbrook and things like that, where they have these plans to install sewers, or sewers are already there. We're seeing a lot more development because they're making a big investment in the infrastructure.
So I want to kind of talk overall in general since COVID hit, and we touched on this when we had the podcast not too long ago. Anybody who's checking this out should really check that out. It was awesome. Rob dropped a bunch of gems about, just construction in general, how they're scaling, a lot of good information. But in like the next 60 seconds that we have, I want you to talk about, because we haven't hit on this, you and I, in a while, what happened as far as COVID in regards to, labor issues, as far as projects, shitting the bed, or other projects that weren't supposed to go as a result of different demand, and what you guys have been dealing with on, the supply chain side, all of that.
Yeah, I mean, things got tough like everybody else, right? I think that the two biggest hurdles that come to mind for me with COVID is, well, three, right? One is labor. We had a really hard time, not so much for us, because we do a lot of our business is construction management. We sub out, we don't self-perform anything. So we're subbing all that work out. But our subcontractors had a very hard time providing labor on some of the job sites. So that was a big thing for us, especially when unemployment was through the roof and we couldn't get guys to come out. Guys were losing big contracts just because they couldn't man the job. So that was a hurdle for us. Financing, like anybody else. Deals were falling through just because financing was tough. Banks didn't know what was going on. Banks didn't know whether they should loan, financing was a big, big issue. And some people deals fell through because their finance changed tremendously. And because of all those things, right? Financing, uncertainty, deals were just falling through. People were afraid, not only from a bank standpoint, but for private money, people were afraid to invest money. People were afraid to pull the trigger. So there was projects that they just held off on, right? So all the projects that we felt like we're going to start in this winter obviously held off. So we're feeling the lull right now. We're feeling a little bit tough where jobs that we thought were going to start last year didn't. And obviously we deal with long-term projects, right? So a couple of projects get pushed off. You feel the pain. So we felt like jobs were going to start last winter. We're hoping now they could start in the spring and pick back up again. But I think that hopefully people loosen up a little bit if we don't have this second wave and this second run, and which it feels like we are. But if we don't have it, hopefully people loosen up a little bit and get a little bit more comfortable with investing the money. But I think that it was really tough from a financing perspective. A lot of deals kind of just were on hold or shit the bed completely,
I appreciate it, bro. We're out of time. I really appreciate you taking the time out. You're a brilliant man. I love you. Thank you for being a great friend. And everybody check out the Kolka Group. They're doing unbelievable things. They got Kolka Interactive, got a ton of content from Long Island's best in the real estate space. Very, very, very cool concept. My hat goes off to you.
You're the man. Love what you're doing. Keep it up. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, brother.